Hey, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show. Thanks for tuning in to the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM. If you're interested in sponsoring my show, you can send me an email to the Mike Wagner Show at gmail.com, or you could also donate to the podcast. Just go to the Donate Listen site, and you can also donate whatever you like. Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. For those who are interested, Anchor can give you everything you need in one place for free, which you can use right from your phone or computer. We got creation tools, allows you to record and edit podcasts so it sounds great, and they'll distribute the podcast for you so it can be heard everywhere. Spotify, Apple, Google, many more. And you can make money from the podcast with no minimum listenership. So download the Anchor app for free or go to Anchor FM to get started.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for your needs. Looking for a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, Apple, Stitcher, Deezer, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with a wonderful author of Scholarship Strategies, Finding Winning the Money You Need here on the Mike Wagner Show. She is based out of the New York, New Jersey area and working out of the home. She's cranked out this best-selling book, and she's also got some other books right now at connections101.com, offering some free resources and basically just helping people get to school and just bypassing student loans and just basically just not doing the traditional method. She'll give you tips on that. And, of course, talking from her experience as well, too. Live from the New York, New Jersey area, ladies and gentlemen, from home studio, best-selling author, Jean O'Toole. Jean, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Oh, it's so great to be here, Mike. Thanks for having me.
Anytime. So you're the author of Scholarship Strategies, Finding and Winning the Money You Need. That's available on Amazon and also on connections101.com. And you also attended school yourself, too. And you also just had some experience and some inspirations in writing the book. Just tell us about what the strategies are and everything. And before we get into all that, tell us how you got started.
Sure. So, I was actually the first person in my family to go to college. And, I remember those years when I was wrapping up high school. And, my family, we definitely, we were looking for as many scholarships as we could. I found some, I won some, but like so many Americans, Mike, I was one of those students who was signing my name to a portion of student loans. And I'm grateful for the work and the help that my school guidance team was able to provide for my family. But, once I graduated from college, I had a really unique professional opportunity, and that was working as one of the top speakers for the student leadership program called Making It Count.
Wow.
That was a big, huge part of Monster, Monster.com, back in the around 2005, 2006, 2007. And needless to say, I was traveling all over the country, speaking to groups of 500 to 1,000 students, at whether it was at a high school or at a college university, and everywhere that I went, Mike, I'd have conversations about success in the, in the classroom and how to help students succeed. But students would take me aside and they would say, Jean, thanks for coming, but I got to tell you, I'm really feeling the pressure about the rising cost of college and what it's going to do for my parents who are trying to make this happen for us, for myself or my siblings. And I absolutely related to that story because it hadn't been, too many years where I was in those shoes. And I was at that time, still paying off my student loans, as many people here in the United States, takes them usually on average a decade to 2 decades to pay off student loans. And it really resonated with me, meeting these students one after another who had their dreams focused, and yet that financial obstacle was there. And so I was inspired, Mike, to take advantage of this unique opportunity that I had in that moment, where literally I was in a professional position, meeting with hundreds of high schools a year, meeting with thousands of students, and I had access to so much information from so many different sources, and I was started to do some research. I said, there's got to be an answer. And you know what? That was the beginning of uncovering what I came to know as the incredible amount of opportunity that exists in terms of outside scholarships. Those are scholarships from companies, organizations, individuals, foundations, private monies, where these are monies that if you win these monies, you can use them at any college, at any university, at any trade school, any type of educational opportunity. And I realized, wow, there's something here. And it motivated me to dig deep, do an immense amount of research, and I put together a program now over a decade ago that I started workshopping in schools. That workshops turned into school assemblies, has turned into parent seminars, and now over 150,000 students across the country have attended my program. And because I can't get everywhere, we put the book together because we want to help families and students be empowered with this information to find these scholarships and reduce their college cost.
That is amazing, a wonderful story. And when you attended Wagner College, what degree did you graduate with, or what major?
Yeah, my degree was a Bachelor's of Science in Arts Administration, which was really helpful given that I had an education in learning about how grants worked and in uncovering and researching different financial opportunities.
Mm-hmm. And of course, what are some of the tips and some of the resources that, people can uncover, like with some of the strategies with the scholarship strategies, like maybe just a few pointers or, just a few tips.
Oh, my gosh, absolutely. Well, so my book has 25 strategies in it, and we actually also include a chapter on 15 additional ways to cut the college bill beyond scholarships and financial aid. But I'm really happy to give your listeners some great strategies today. And one major strategy is to use what I call ready-to-go material. So let me explain this for you, Mike. Ready-to-go material would be for any student all of their past homework assignments that maybe they had done, for any of their different classes in maybe their past 3 or 4 years of their education. So I'm talking about not just that high school senior who really might be looking for scholarships. I'm also talking about, that current college student. I'm even talking about, that middle school student or even that elementary school student. Dig out any past homeworks that student has done, papers, projects, essays, or poems, and let's then turn the research to look for scholarships connected to that. Because think about it, Mike, This strategically is a massive time saver. One of the biggest reasons why students don't pursue money is because they're busy. I mean, they've got so much going on. And, not just in the classroom, but certainly outside the classroom with their clubs, their sports, their activities, their social life, and maybe even their part-time jobs and internships. So, if we could actually help students to use strategically work that they've already done, they can expedite out so many scholarship applications. And it is a numbers game, so we want to get out as many applications as possible. I'm going to give you an example. So, there's this misconception, huge misconception, that every scholarship that we apply to has to relate to what we want to do with our life. And I have no idea where that came from, because that's not the case. There could be somebody right now who's listening in who maybe it's a parent who has a son or daughter who wants to be an engineer. Well, I know for a fact, because every school in America has it as part of their curriculum, that same student has definitely had to write at least one poem for some English class that they've had over the course of their high school career. I say to that family, have the son or daughter dig out that poem, and let's apply to all these tons of poetry scholarships. I mean, there's tons of poetry scholarships, just as one example. And let's take that money, let's take those potential winnings and then pay for the engineering degree.
Wow.
So
poetry scholarships?
It is a major strategic move. If you can actually, there's so many scholarships that relate to so many different things, and let's use the work where the sweat equity has already been invested.
That is amazing. And how about another popular tip that people can use, or maybe the most obscure one that people should be using?
Yeah, so here's another really great tip, and this has to do with how you maximize any of those local scholarship opportunities that are out there, which people really should pay attention to, because you have a super high chance of winning. I mean, let's not just work, on trying to find some scholarships. Let's work smart on this process, and strategically, we always want to look at scholarships where the odds are in our favor, right? Statistically, those odds we have a higher chance of being the recipient of the award. So local scholarships, you're not competing against, students from all over the nation. You're only competing against students in your own community, in your own school. And I'll tell you, there's a big missed opportunity here. And this is why all of your listeners right now, I'm giving them a major strategy. And that is any student should take it upon themselves to do just it'll take a little bit of research time. But this is what I want you to do. I want you to get the list of all of the local scholarships that are going to be coming up in your area, and start looking at their criteria 6 months to a year in advance. So that way you can qualify for more. For example, maybe there's a scholarship that is connected to community service, but not just community service. Maybe it's a local organization that wants to honor and award a student who maybe has done some sort of outreach to maybe the elderly population in their community. Well, this is gold. This is a huge piece of information for that student, because knowing that in advance, right, choice is the most powerful thing that we own. That young person can now take it upon themselves to do a project to meet that criteria. So 6 months to a year in advance for the local opportunities, doing that research can be a huge help. But we're going to take it even further. Strategically, I want you to not just find out that information about those local scholarships. I want you to find out who won last year, why did they win, and who decides. Again, those three major questions are: Who won last year? Why did they win? And who decides? And here's a big major move. It's a courageous move, but I know that students and parents out there who are listening can do it. And this is what I want you to do. When you find out who the decision makers are, right? That last question, who decides? Who is actually going to be deciding on who will get that award? Then what I want you to do is reach out, and ideally this should absolutely be the student who reaches out to that local company, local organization, local foundation or individual who has put together this scholarship, and always reach out with the aim of communicating two things. Number one, always communicate gratitude. So first, hi, thank you so much. I've heard that you have put together a scholarship for students in my town. Thank you so much for doing that. It really means a lot to all of us who are pursuing our college goals, right? And our college dreams. So always acknowledge with gratitude. But number two, and this is where the gold comes in. Number two, have that student ask the question, what are you looking for in an ideal candidate?
Interesting.
And I'll tell you, Mike, think about it. That one question, what are you looking for in an ideal candidate? Professionally, we all ask those questions when we are seeking that next professional opportunity. And yet, students can and should be asking that same question to that potential decision maker, because in that moment, the decision maker doesn't know anything about their grades or their extracurricular activities, what they did outside of the classroom, but they know something in that moment. They know, wow, this young person is pretty motivated, determined, and driven. And all of a sudden, they'll probably be asking, what's your name again? Or what's your name again? And now they're going to pop an email to everybody, in their scholarship committee. You'll never believe the phone call I just got. Wow, I can't wait to already get that application from this young person. So already, just by taking a little bit of time and taking a strategic step in advance, you can already start to put yourself to the head of the pile.
That is fantastic. We're here with Gene O'Toole, the author of Scholarship Strategies, Finding and Winning the Money in Need. We'll talk about the 15 ways to reduce college costs, but first listen to the Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on themikewagnershow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, Apple, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with author Gene O'Toole of Scholarship Strategies, Finding and Winning the Money You Need, published by Morgan James Publishing here on the Mike Wagner Show. We talked about some of the ways you could find and win the money you need, and let's get to the 15 ways to reduce college costs beyond scholarships and more. And tell us a little bit about the 15 ways, and maybe you can just present a few.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many ways to cut the bill, And I encourage families to definitely be looking at the ways that you can cut the biggest expenses. So what are the biggest expenses? That's tuition and room and board, right? So tuition, right off the bat, if you, this is something that I encourage families to have, sit down around the kitchen table and let's talk the numbers. Right now, if a student wants to, they can absolutely strategically begin to plan the years of their college education to maybe take a few extra classes when they can, and absolutely they should aim to graduate as soon as possible. When I say as soon as possible, I'm not just going to give you the goal of graduating, doing your undergraduate degree, that 4-year degree, in 4 years, which, by the way, Mike, the average student takes 5 to 6 years to get the 4-year degree.
Wow.
Students, if they plan ahead, and again, everything that we talk about in my book, everything I talk about in my seminars, these are all strategies about looking ahead, looking down the road, and planning a little bit of extra time, to make sure that you can actually save yourself so much time, energy, and money in the long run. So graduating as early as possible, what you can do is work on discussing with your college advisor about which classes you might be able to take during a summer semester, what classes you can take during a winter break, and your goal should be to try to complete that 4-year degree in 3 years.
Wow, amazing.
Now that's very, very possible for so many students, but this is big money savings, Mike. Big money savings. Right now, the average cost of a state school with tuition, room, and board is going to be just under $100,000 for 4 years of school, and for a private school, it's going to be on average around $200,000. So if you could remove 1 year of expenses for your family, right? We are talking massive savings that could average anywhere between $25,000 to $50,000 a year.
Wow.
That's real money. That is real money. So secondly, a second way to cut the college costs is to look at and design your educational plan. And again, this all it takes is conversations in advance with your college advisors. Okay, discuss with the college advisors about how you can stack your degrees at a particular college or university. So what I mean by that is, if you know in advance that you are going to be looking to get a master's degree on top of that undergraduate degree, then let's not plan the 4 years and the 2 years. Let's plan and see how we can get both degrees done in 4 to 5 years, right? Let's try to stack and again, saving immense amounts, tens of thousands of dollars for your family. And obviously, the sooner that you graduate, the sooner you can be out there earning money with your paycheck.
That is amazing too. And also, one more thing this came to mind: does a plan of going to a junior college for 2 years, then finishing up at a 4-year school, your junior and senior year, does that still work?
Oh my gosh, I love that you brought that up, Mike. I love that you brought that up. It's one of the things I mentioned in my book because yeah, absolutely. Junior college, starting at a community college can save a family tons and tons of money. I need to remind every listener out there about something that's super important, and that is this. At the end of the day, nobody is ever going to ask, where did you start college? They only want to know, where did you finish? And so with that, you absolutely can and should start your education at the least expensive option for your family, and then you can always transfer to maybe that higher, that if that college or that university that you want to get that degree from ultimately, transfer in later and finish up strong.
That is fantastic. That's tried and true. And we'll also talk about what's in connections101.com, some of the free resources and more. You listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition rate. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention The Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on themikewagnershow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, Apple, and more. Take The Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to The Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow The Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with author Gene O'Toole of Scholarship Strategies, Finding and Winning the Money you Need here on The Mike Wagner Show. We also talked about the 15 ways to reduce college costs beyond scholarships and more. We cover a few of them. And jumping over to connections101.com, which also features the Scholarship Strategies book, there's also a site on free resources. You can just tell us about that, from how to start a scholarship search and websites and essay tips and more.
Yeah. So I am the co-founder of Connections 101, and we're really, really proud of the work that we're doing. Connections 101 is a student success company that has tools and resources to help students become empowered with their scholarship search. And so we are so pleased to offer everyone, everywhere, tons of free resources to have them get started. It is our aim that students do not have to be part of that $1.5 trillion of student loan debt that's out there. And really, if you take action, you can change your situation and your family's situation. And some of the free resources that we include at Connections 101 are a simple 3-step how-to on just how to get started. Because I got to tell you, Mike, that's the question I get every single day from families all across America reaching out to me through our different social media. How do I actually get started with and get started smart with my scholarship search? So go there, please download it, share it with your friends, and start that money mission.
That
we
is,
also
yes. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You're on a roll.
We also include, there's also a free downloadable list of different scholarship websites to help you start your search. Every website that we've included is completely free. I want to give a shout out right now to one website that I love, and I'll tell you, I have no affiliation with this website. I just think it's super easy and to use, and so I do recommend it for folks, and that's scholarships.com. I like scholarships.com personally because it enables students and families to do a search in 2 different ways. One, scholarships by deadline, because let me tell you, that's one of the easiest ways for us to not be overwhelmed with this process, is literally just looking at this 1 month at a time. What scholarships are due this month, and then we'll focus on next month later on. And then another thing that they have, again, this is on scholarships.com, is that you can search for scholarships by age. And Mike, this is so important to anyone who's listening. In fact, I've been doing this work now for over a decade, and I wish that more people knew this one piece of information, and that is this. Outside scholarships, again, private monies, not monies that are from colleges and universities, but monies from companies, organizations, individuals, and foundations. There are monies for students of all ages. And when I say all ages, there are scholarships for kids in elementary school, scholarships for kids in middle school through high school, through undergrad, graduate, doctoral, and even students who are adults returning to school. I've even come across scholarships where you had to be over the age of 65 in order to apply.
Really? Interesting.
Oh my gosh. I mean, this is private monies. It's private money. So it's up to them. They get to decide, right? They get to decide who they want to honor and what they want to award. And so I love that there is that one search feature at scholarships.com where you can look for scholarships by age.
That's
and we've got a
interesting.
bunch of other great stuff there too. So go ahead and check. I encourage everybody to check it out. Share the information.
We'll check that out too. And also, you also got some tips for writing outstanding scholarship essays to win all these scholarships, and maybe just give us a few tips.
Sure. So first of all, not every scholarship does require an essay. And one thing that I do want to bring up is that a lot of times I will ask students, what do you do? What are you thinking about? Like when you see a scholarship that requires an essay and, in their own words, Mike, they'll always come back and say something like, well, you know what, Jean, I think I want to skip that one, right? and so, I gotta bring this up. I gotta bring this up because you know what, Mike? Scholarships that actually have essays, let me tell you, those scholarships are opportunities where you have a higher chance of winning. In fact, we talked about local scholarships, but also scholarships, whether it's an essay or if they just require some sort of work involved. I mean, think about it. Everybody else is wanting to skip that one. So there's fewer people who are actually going to get it done. So I encourage anybody out there, you're really serious about your money mission, you should be applying for the ones that have an essay. Now, let's make it as strong as possible. And I'm going to give you one tip right now. Include in every single scholarship essay application what I call a why you statement. And a why you statement. A lot of times students will ask me after one of my, school presentations or my parent seminars, they'll say, oh, Jean, a why you statement. Is that where I should, write about some obstacle I've overcome and how it's made me who I am today? And I'll tell that student, nope, that's something that you will save for a college application. But a why you statement is ultimately never relating to what you did in your past or what happened to you in your past, has everything to do with what you are going to do in the future. And I'm going to give you an example. So there was a young lady who was in she was a student who was in one of my high school assembly presentations. And she was an aspiring teacher. And she attended my program, my assembly, and she put my strategies to work. And she won a boatload of money. She did very, very well.
Wow!
And I sat down with her, after she had graduated high school. She was heading off to college, and I reached out to her and I said, congratulations, you did really well with your scholarships. I said, what was your why you statement? And hers was awesome. She gave me permission to share it with other people, so I'm going to share it with you and all of your listeners right now. Again, this young lady, she was an aspiring teacher, right? So this was her why you statement. She said and wrote in her essay, if your organization grants me this scholarship, I'd like you to know my goal is to go beyond becoming a teacher. My goal is to someday perhaps maybe become a principal, maybe even a superintendent, and therefore have the opportunity to impact and inspire not just hundreds of students, but potentially thousands.
Wow.
Boom. Yeah, that's like a mic drop moment, right? It's a mic drop moment for that student. And I got to tell you, this is why we put a why you statement in. So here's how you craft one. Here's how you do it. And this will make your essay stand out from everybody else's. And in fact, not just for your essays, but you can actually use this and include this in the application, even if you're sending the poem or whatever the application is asking for. I want you to write a why you statement. Should be 2 to 3 sentences, literally describing that once all the education is done, whatever your goals are, you get all the degrees you're going to get. When all is said and done, how are you planning on impacting your life, impacting somebody else's life, or impacting the world? Again, your life, somebody else's life, or impacting the world. Put that in a sentence. That is your why you statement.
That is fantastic. You also go beyond the Scholarship Strategies book, the free resources. You also offer jumpstart sessions, seminars, presentations, assemblies, and scholarship club. And, just quickly tell us about those and how you can go beyond the free resources in the book.
Sure. We are really excited that we have so many different opportunities for students and parents. At the end of the day, though, it is my aim to empower people with information so they can take this and run with it. But what we provide is we actually have parent seminars and student presentations where I'm visiting schools and visiting organizations all over the country, but you can also attend it virtually. We've been running different scholarship clubs. We've been running. You can participate in a scholarship club from wherever you are in the world, and I bring students together to help students find more scholarships faster. It's a really exciting opportunity participating in the scholarship club because if you can find more faster, then you can get busy applying and not spend the time searching. Also, too, we do jumpstart sessions. If there's a family who is looking to, wants to get ahead and needs some personal attention, we're happy to help them as well.
That is fantastic. And once again, Gene O'Toole, the author of Scholarship Strategies, Finding and Winning the Money You Need, published by Morgan James Publishing here on the Mike Wagner Show. A couple more things before we go here, and we'd love to have you back on sometime in 2020. And who do you consider biggest influence in your career?
Absolutely. My biggest influence is, and I'm gonna giggle a little bit because I'm sure other people might say it as well, but my biggest influence, hands down, has been my father, because I grew up on a farm in Western Massachusetts, and we didn't grow up with a lot. And my dad always said to me that, Jean, if you're willing to do just a little bit more work, you can get a little bit further. Mm-hmm. And he really drove into me this idea and this concept that if it is to be, it's up to me. And that one phrase has inspired me to build this program about how you find scholarships. That mm-hmm. At the end of the day, right, we don't have to be resigned to our current situation. We don't have to be, I don't have to be resigned to a life of student loan debt because maybe my family didn't have the means to be able to provide more, right? They did what they could. Mm-hmm. I really believe that we can change our situation with just a little bit of extra effort and a little bit of putting that effort in a smart direction. Mm-hmm. And if we work smarter instead of harder, we can change the situation not just for ourselves, but for our family and ultimately our community. And that's why I do what I do. That's
fantastic. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
I would say that you have it within yourself to really be able to design your life and utilize, please, if whatever your goal is, whatever your dream is, utilize the wealth of information of any person who has come before you and has done it. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. We can always look to anyone who has actually done the work in advance. So with scholarships, students should be talking with maybe those college students who had already researched scholarships maybe several years before. They are literally, there's a wealth of information that we can tap into and be able to get to where our point B is, get from point A to point B faster, simply by asking for some advice.
That is fantastic. And what are your upcoming plans for 2020 and beyond?
For this year, we're really excited because, we are actually utilizing the technology that's there, to bring our program virtually to students and families across this nation and literally across the world. So I'm so excited because of, different online streaming platforms that we can actually help students, whether they are right in my backyard or 3,000 miles away.
That is fantastic. Once again, author Jean O'Toole of Scholarship Strategies, Finding and Winning the Money You Need, published by Morgan James Publishing here on the Mike Wagner Show. Jean, you've been fantastic. Thank you very much for your time. You've been great. Looking forward to having you again soon. And one more thing before we go, tell us about your upcoming projects. What's your website? How do people contact you? And where can people purchase and check out your books and materials?
Thanks, Mike. Yeah, so I am actually currently working on my next book, which is specifically helping undergraduate and graduate students find more scholarships to reduce their college costs. And I would love to hear from your listeners, because not only do I want you to reach out if you need any help, because we're happy to help, but I'd love to hear about your success stories. I want to hear about what scholarships you win. I just heard from a student recently from upstate New York who reached out to me to tell me how excited she was about a scholarship that was related to maple syrup that she had won.
Maple syrup.
So,
you're making me hungry.
There's scholarships for everything, Mike. So, people, I want to hear your success story, because those success stories are what I then pass along in my presentations to parents and students, and that inspires people to take action. So here's how you stay in touch with me. So reach out to me, of course, for all those free resources at connections101.com, but definitely reach out to me through Facebook, Instagram, YouTube at Scholarship Strategies, and you could pop me a tweet at Scholarship Jean.
Fantastic, Jean. Thank you very much. You've been fantastic. Looking forward to having you again soon. Do us a favor, keep us up to date. Looking forward to having you back on 2020. You've been fantastic.
Thanks, Mike. It's been a real pleasure. You are awesome, and I love your show. And best wishes to everyone out there. Go get the money.
Thanks for listening to the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagner Show.